Hi, welcome to my channel. This is a video about plastic pollution. You are watching part 2. If you want to watch part 1 of this video, click on the I button. I hope you will like it. So let's get started. Causes of plastic pollution. Nature has the power to decompose all types of wastes. However, plastic is a man-made waste that does not decompose for years, thus polluting the environment. Some of the causes of plastic pollution are use of single-use plastic. About half of the plastic used in the world is in the form of single-use plastic, which is littered all around and cannot be recycled easily. Plastic bags, trays, bottles, and food packaging are all items that are used once and disposed of carelessly, causing pollution. Single-use plastic is one of the biggest contributors to plastic pollution of the environment. Pollution through microplastics. Car tires are made of rubber and plastic, and the constant friction of the tires with the road releases microplastic particles into the atmosphere. Machine wash of synthetic clothes results in the release of plastic microfibers into the drainage system. Cosmetics and paints contain microplastics that are washed away into the drain. Cigarette filters and chewing gums also consist of certain types of plastic which make them unhealthy for people consuming them as well as to the environment. The plastics are transported to the seas and oceans by rivers and by the wind. As a result, the ocean water gets polluted, endangering the lives of the water animals. Effects of plastic pollution. Effects on environment. Plastic debris gets deposited across different areas of the globe due to several factors like ocean currents, the geography of the coastline, trade routes, and urban regions. Most of the plastic distribution in different regions, including remote areas, is caused by humans. Plastic pollution is a cause of climate change as harmful gases and chemicals are released during the production and transport of plastic items. Effects on land. Plastic pollution on land largely impacts plants, animals, and human lives. The overall plastic used and disposed of is higher and more concentrated on land than in water. Plastic waste which is not managed well is a major cause of concern as it eventually reaches the water and pollutes it as well. Even burning such materials can only release toxic fumes and cause air pollution. Hence, the impact of plastics on the environment is something that is severe and is causing major soil, air, and water and land pollution because of its excess usage. Effects on oceans. The plastic waste accumulated in the ocean water is increasing every year. This waste is getting into the oceans through the water bodies as smaller fragments. This plastic waste is harmful to the well-being of water animals. Effects on humans. Chemicals released during the manufacturing of plastics pollute the environment, and the compounds used in the process are very harmful to humans. Due to the wide use of plastic in our day-to-day life, health issues related to human fertility and reproduction have been on the rise. Plastic contains bisphenol A, which can cause hypothyroidism. Effects on animals. The livestock and other animals that feed on garbage and grass outside are affected by it because they swallow the materials like plastic and polythene bags, food wrappers, and so on. These choke up the respiratory system of the animals or even form a lining on their stomach, causing severe health issues and death. The drains get clogged because of the plastics, and the oceans are getting polluted due to the presence of plastic bags, which then ends up inside the aquatic animals. Large quantities of plastics are being discovered in the stomachs of marine animals like whales, sharks, and even turtles. Link between plastic pollution and climate change. Climate change and plastic pollution are undoubtedly two of the most pressing environmental crises we face globally today. While they may seem like two separate issues, they are in fact intricately intertwined. Plastic waste, especially when mismanaged, is contributing to climate change. According to research by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, around 18% of methane emissions worldwide come from waste materials in landfills. Managing plastic waste effectively can shift the dial significantly. Research by Circulate Capital found that if the plastic leakage problem can be addressed in India and Indonesia, almost 150 million tons of greenhouse gas can be prevented by 2030. The production of plastic is one of the most energy-intensive manufacturing processes in the world. The material is made from fossil fuels such as crude oil, which are transformed via heat and other additives into a polymer. In 2019, plastics generated 1.8 billion metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions, 3.4% of the global total. The packaging sector is the largest generator of single-use plastic waste in the world. Approximately 36% of all plastics produced are used in packaging. This includes single-use plastic food and beverage containers, 85% of which end up in landfills or as mismanaged waste. Farming is another area where plastic is ubiquitous. It is used in everything from seed coatings to mulch film. The fishing industry is another significant source. Recent research suggests more than 100 million pounds of plastic enters the oceans from industrial fishing gear alone. The fashion industry is another major plastic user. About 60% of material made into clothing is plastic, including polyester, acrylic and nylon. Some facts about ocean pollution. Since the 1950s, humans have generated about 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic. About half of the plastic produced was made in the past 13 years. By 2015, 6.3 billion metric tons of plastic had already become waste, and only 9% of it was recycled. Another 12% was incinerated, while 79% ended up in landfills or the natural environment. If current conditions continue, the amount of waste will jump dramatically. By 2050, around 12 billion metric tons of plastic could wind up in landfills or the natural world. Each year, at least 8 million metric tons of plastic enter the ocean, which is the same as dumping a full garbage truck into the water every minute. The United Nations Environment Programme estimates that every square mile of ocean contains roughly 46,000 pieces of floating plastic. The world's largest collection of floating trash is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a collection of debris that lies between California and Hawaii. It contains roughly 79,000 metric tons of plastic. Up to 85% of plastic pollution found on shorelines is microplastics. These tiny fragmented pieces of plastic break off when the material is left to degrade under the sun's UV rays, and they are often consumed by animals that live near or in the ocean. According to UNESCO, plastic waste accounts for the deaths of more than 1 million seabirds every year, along with over 100,000 marine mammals. By 2050, there could be more plastic in the ocean than fish. How much plastic enters the world's oceans? Here we see that in 2010, global primary production of plastic was 270 million tons. Global plastic waste was 275 million tons. Plastic waste generated in coastal regions is most at risk of entering the oceans. In 2010, coastal plastic waste, generated within 50 kilometers of the coastline, amounted to 99.5 million tons. Only plastic waste which is improperly managed or mismanaged is at significant risk of leakage to the environment. In 2010, this amounted to 31.9 million tons. Of this, 8 million tons to 3% of global annual plastics waste entered the ocean through multiple outlets, including rivers. The amount of plastic in surface waters is not very well known. Estimates range from 10,000 to 100,000 tons. Facts about plastic pollution you need to know. Only 9% of all plastic produced is recycled. A whopping 2 million plastic bags are used every minute worldwide. Every minute of every day, a truckload of plastic is dumped into the ocean. 73% of beach litter worldwide is plastic. 1 million plastic bottles are bought every minute. There could be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050. Up to 95% of plastic polluting oceans is carried by 10 rivers. 99% of seabirds will be eating plastic by 2050. The average person eats 70,000 microplastics each year. The average time that a plastic bag is used is just 12 minutes. Scientists find new disease in birds caused by consumption of plastics. Scientists have discovered a new disease called plasticosis in birds that is solely caused by the consumption of plastics. The researchers in Australia and UK found scarred tissues in the digestive tracts of birds that were caused by feasting on plastics. According to the study, published in the Journal of Hazardous Materials, the disease is caused by the persistent presence of plastic in the body's digestive system that can lead to long-term inflammation and even the formation of scar tissue. The researchers found traces of plastics in 30 flesh-footed shearwater birds, including 21 fledglings between 80 and 90 days old, who had died recently. They were collected from Lord Howe Island in Australia. Upon close observation, they found microplastic pieces in the bodies of the birds. A bird was found to have consumed 12.5% of its body weight in plastic. The study found that the more plastic a bird consumed, the more scarring it had on the tissues. According to them, the disease can lead to the gradual breakdown of tubular glands in the proventriculus. Losing these glands can cause the birds to become more vulnerable to infection and parasites and affect their ability to digest food and absorb some vitamins. Some of the news articles related to plastic pollution death. Young whale died with 88 pounds of plastic in its stomach. Famous dugong dies after eating plastic. Indian gaur dies after consuming plastic near Ooty. Sperm whale dies off Florida Keys. Necropsy shows signs of marine debris, line, net, and plastic found inside the whale's stomach. Young sperm whale found dead in Sicily with stomach full of plastic. Asian elephants are ingesting large amounts of plastic from landfills in India. Consumption of extensive amounts of plastic waste has killed about 20 elephants in Sri Lanka over the past 8 years. Dead sperm whale found in Indonesia had ingested 6 kilograms of plastic. Items found inside the whale included drinking cups, plastic bottles, plastic bags and flip-flops. Plastic pollution likely killed whale found with nearly 30 kilograms of rubbish in its stomach. Documentaries to watch. Here is a list of 14 documentaries which you can watch on YouTube and other streaming platforms as per your convenience. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and share the video. Also, you can watch my other videos.